All right, Global Studies. Today we are going to create your island's population density map. In order to do this, you are going to need your physical map template or physical map itself, because as you can see here on the first bullet point, you are going to trace your map template. All right, but you can also trace your physical map if you don't have your template anymore, because when you trace it, all you're going to do is trace the outline of your island, including only the water features. That means that you're not going to include any of the mountains, volcanoes, fault block mountains, plateaus. Anything that has contour lines will not be included on this population density map. So we are only going to include our sources, rivers, tributaries, and deltas. All right, so the first thing you're going to need to do is trace your map. And once you do that, you are going to color by population density. You're going to need at least 5 levels of population density. And you can take a look at the example on the board and feel free to copy my key. All right, you're going to see that there will be one there for you, and you are more than welcome to use it. Take a look at your physical map. You want to pay attention to where those water features are located so that you know to include them. Once you've done that, you need to make sure that you have come up with 4 major cities and a capital city for your island. So that's 5 cities in total. And your names for each city and the capital should relate to your theme. For example, if you have Candy Island, maybe you want your capital city to be called Twixville, and maybe you want your major city to be called Kit Kat City or something like that. So it's totally up to you. You just want to make sure that your city names have to do with your theme for your island. All right, we need to make sure here as well that we have our capital city indicated with a star, and any major city is used with a dot. All right, and I'll show you an example here in a second. All right, after that, you are going to do a write-up. All of that information can be found on Schoology. Please make sure you use the document that I created for you. All the questions that you need are going to be there for you to write right on there, and then you can submit it. So nobody should have to make a copy. All right, let's take a look at how you're going to do this. So right here, I have my physical map. All right, this is my template. You're going to notice that I have a couple mountains on here, and I have my 2 rivers that I used. So if we look at our instructions, we're going to know we're going to trace our template, but we're not going to include any of the mountains. So you're going to take a new piece of paper, put it over the top, and you are just going to go ahead and trace your island as best as you can. And again, we are going to leave off all of the mountains and only include the water features. All right. So you're going to see that I'm adding my rivers in. All right. And then my tributary as well. And the reason we want to make sure we have our rivers on here and not our mountains is because we know from our notes that people do not live in mountains. People like to live near resources such that rivers can provide. All right, so I have my physical map. This is what it should look like. Notice I have I have my population map. I have no mountains and only rivers on here. So there's my template. All right, and here's going to be my population map. You still need a title, compass, scale, and key. All right, so if I do Candy Island, I have my title. I have my compass. North, east, south, west. All right, I have my scale. The scale should be roughly the same as your physical map. So I'm going to do 1 inch equals 15 miles. And now I need a key. So I'm going to do 0, or I'm going to do less than 25. And that's people per square mile. I'm going to do 25 to 50, or 26 to 50, 51 to 75, 76 to 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 101 and up. And again, that is people per square mile. Feel free to use my key on the board as well. It's the same as this. Let me just adjust that there. All right, so the next thing I got to do is add some colors to my key. All right, so I'm going to use yellow, 25 to 50. We'll use orange, 51 to 75. We'll use red, 76 to 100. And I'll use brown for 101 people per square mile. and up. Okay, and I'll put this, oh, I need one for less than 25 as well. I just forgot that. We'll use green for that. Okay. So then I'll make my box around that for my key. All right, and then the first thing I'm going to do is color in where my mountains are so that I know not to put any people there. All right, so I knew I had some mountains in this area. So I'm just going to quickly shade that in just so I know. And I know I had some mountains in this area as well. All right, so that's what I would recommend doing, is just shading in where your mountains are so you know not to put any cities right there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is actually go ahead and add my cities. So I'm going to put my capital city right on the confluence of two rivers. All right, I'm going to put a city on the coast, another city near this bay. All right, so I have 3. I'm going to put one kind of out in the middle. There's 4, and then maybe one on this side of the mountain or volcano, just to make it a little more interesting for those people, at 5. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and name my cities. I'm just going to do a couple so you get the idea. All right, so maybe I'll call my capital city Kit Katville. And maybe I'll call this major city Snickers City. All right, and you'll do that for the rest as well. Now I'm just going to decide where people are going to live. So I'm going to have my major city, which is Snickers City, be colored brown because I'm going to have 101 people per square mile and up live there. So it means there's going to be a lot of people living in this city. All right, and you're going to want to make sure you go through this in pen when you label everything so that you can see it. You can see that it's kind of tough, all right, to see through the colored pencil. All right, and then what you're going to do is just kind of walk down your key, all right, and color kind of accordingly. So we know that most people live in a city. So then outside of that city, it's probably going to be a little less. I'm going to make this be pretty steep. So I'm going to jump to 25 to 50 after that. All right, so then you're going to color this in. So again, that kind of tells me that 25 to 50 people per square mile live outside of Snickers City. And I'm going to have my capital city be a major city, but not going to be as densely populated as Snickers City. So I'm going to color this one red so that I know it's 76 to 100 people. So it's a big city, but it's not as big. And I'm going to have a lot of people living along the water. And then you're going to see I'm going to walk down my key. So I'm going to go orange next. Okay, and then yellow. We'll kind of connect with some of the people from Snickers City here. So we have yellow. And then kind of outside of that, I'm going to continue coloring things green. All right, because that just tells me there's not a whole lot of people that live out here. And that's okay. You can decide where you want most of the people to live on your island. Just make sure you refer to the note sheet so that you know where people do tend to live. So I know people like to live on the coast. All right, so I might do, some people living out on the coastline here. All right, and you're going to get the idea there. So basically, to summarize, what you're going to do is make sure you use your notes that you took on where people live on population. So if you didn't do those, you really need to make sure you have, because otherwise you won't know where to put anything. And then what you're going to do is choose 4 major cities and 1 capital city for 5 total. And you're going to make sure that you are keeping in mind how you are walking down your key. For example, maybe your major city will be the most densely populated, and then you just go down your key. Whoops, sorry, I can't see that. You just go down your key right from there. All right, just keep in mind we are only using blue for water. All right, so that you shouldn't have anything on your island that is blue unless it's a river. All right, please make sure you reference the board. It will have everything you need on there. All right, and good luck and have fun with this.